Well. There's not really much to say, is there? It's the end for Frank. It's the end for Frank. We have to realize that he probably tried his best, but today was an example of why he's just not ready for this job. He was not ready to get all these new players in and bed them into a system. He is not. He's tactically inept. Let's face it. Lamps is not ready. Lamps is not there yet. He has to go down the leagues maybe, and really establish himself as a manager before he gets a job like this. Because what I saw and what I've been seeing for the last few weeks tactically has been unacceptable. Today, let's just flash back to what I said before this video. If we play our usual 65%, 70% possession game, we will 100% get beat. We will get beat because we are not creating enough chances. We are not doing enough in midfield for us to have that amount of possession and win a game. And there will be opportunities with the pace of Jamie Vardy and how well the likes of Harvey Barnes and James Maddison is playing. There will be opportunity on the counter-attack for Leicester if we play our 65-70% possession game. I would not play that game. I said if you play a 4-2-3-1, whatever system you play, what matters is the strategy. The strategy, I said, best way to approach this game is to have a lower block, be solid defensively, and play on the counter-attack. Right there, what you saw, the video, and now the stat that you see. That is the reason why Frank Lampard and why Chelsea lost this game. I told you, if you play the 65% possession game that Chelsea play, we will not win this match. We have not been creating enough chances, and better team than Fulham would have beaten us last week because there was so much space behind the defense, behind the midfield, and no protection. Against Fulham there was some protection because Jorginho was playing. Today, Frank Lampard went with Mason Mount and Kovacic. No recognized CDMs. No Gilmore, no Jorginho. We know Kante is injured. He didn't go with any protection for the back four. He went with Kai Havertz as a number 10. Complete failure. Completely failed. I actually put him in the bench because I didn't think this was the right game for him. Because he's not been playing well in the Premier League. He's been playing well in the Cups, but not in the Premier League. I thought Mason Mount in a freer role would have done a better job, but Frank did not heed my advice. And honestly, what this whole situation proved to me is Frank is not ready. And if anything, I'm more ready than Frank is, and that's not saying much, but that is what it is. Because if you went with my lineup, you would have a better chance of winning 100%. 100%. With the strategy that I said we should have played. We honestly should have played that strategy. I think a better manager would have played that strategy because I feel like this was not the game to play our normal game because we are not in form. Sometimes you have to accept that you're not in form and you're coming up against a team who are better than you right now and are in better form and playing better stuff. Suck it up and play on the counterattack. Be strategic. We weren't. We got beat comfortably. The only people I guess you could exempt from criticism today is Mendy. Mendy was good. Without Mendy, it'd be 5 or 6. Should be 5 or 6. And there's no strategy, man. There's no formation. There's nothing. There's no pressing. We don't know who our penalty kick taker is. We don't know who our free kick taker is. We don't know anything about this team. We are halfway through the season, and this is what's happening at Chelsea Football Club. Frank Lampard has to take a lot of responsibility. I've said the players are not mentally strong, so I'm not going to go back there. They are not mentally strong. It's not all down to Frank, but Frank Lampard has to take the large portion of the blame. He's done, man. He has to get sacked now. Chelsea are 1 point ahead of Arsenal. 1 point. Have a look at the teams. Arteta is doing a fabulous job in that case. He's probably not. But compared to what Lamps is, he probably is. Lamps has been doing a horrible job. He's not done anything this season. Well, he's not done anything, has he? Last season exempts him from being the worst Chelsea manager of all time in under Roman. But this season has been awful, and it's time for him to leave. It's time for him to go, man. I'm not even mad because honestly, I kind of, like I said, I was fearful before the match. I was trying to be optimistic because why wouldn't you be? It's your team, you support your team, you have to be optimistic. But everything I said, when you play that 65-70% possession game, you have to be on point. You have to be creative. You have to be progressive. You have to be You have to be creating chances and delivering. And we're not doing any of those things. We're weak on the counterattack. We don't have a counterattack. We are weak when we lose the ball, when we're exposed to the counterattack, and we've not done anything to make adjustments to that. In fact, Frank went the other way today, and he went gung ho. He went all out. He started with Kai Havertz and Tammy Abraham up front. That's a bad front two because both of them are very lanky, and there's no combination there. And if you play them week in, week out, maybe they have a chemistry there, but they haven't been playing together at all. Not to start Timo Werner again. I said he has to start Timo Werner. He didn't. And it hasn't paid off because Tammy Abraham really let him down. His boy let him down. His boys have let him down. And honestly, he's lost the dressing room because if his boys have let him down, what are the other bunch doing? They're probably going to let him down too because he's lost the dressing room. There's no tactics. There's no strategy. There's no style of play. We don't know who should play in what position. No matter what I come up with, the formations that I put out, no matter what I do, Frank Lampard has his own ideas and he will not listen to anybody. And look at him. And you have to understand sometimes you look at a person and you know that they are defeated. This job is too big for them. It has come too early for them. They realize that it's probably the right thing to do to let go of them. And it's probably better for them, probably better for Lamps as a manager to go down the leagues and learn because he is not ready. He is not ready. What he did today is unacceptable. How can you drop Kurt Zouma? How can you drop Kurt Zouma? He's been one of our best players this season. Why would you drop him? Is he injured? What's happening? What's happening there? We're picking Rudiger again. Man, Christensen and Rudiger are problems. Christensen more so than Rudiger, but Rudiger he's a problem. You let go of Tomori, who was our third best center back, and he was playing well before. For whatever reason, he was benched last season, and he hasn't gotten a look in since. I don't understand the decisions that are being made at the football club, that are being made by Frank Lampard. What kind of decisions are these? Are these footballing decisions? Are you not reading the game properly? Honestly, you aren't, because to me, Frank Lampard was a great player, and his legacy, no matter what he does, will always be held at a high regard at Chelsea, no matter what he does, even if he gets sacked now, and which I'm hoping he does, because right now he has to get sacked, because this is it. Honestly, this is it. His legacy will always remain intact, so don't take anything away from Frank in terms of his legacy as a player. He was an amazing player, but that is what he was. He was an amazing player. Sometimes amazing players don't become amazing managers because they don't see that gritty, the dirty side of the game. Today was not a day to play a 65-70% possession game. Today was a day to be tough to beat and then play on the counterattack. If we played a structured game with a fluid front four that goes and attacks and exploits the space on the counterattack, we could have won this game, honestly. But it was too easy for Leicester. Leicester did to us what I suggested we do to Leicester. They played on the counterattack, and they were very strategic. They were very clever. Brendan Rodgers is a smart guy. He's been around. He's managed Liverpool. He's managed Swansea. He's been down the leagues. He's managed in Scotland. He has a lot of experience, and he's just a smart guy. He used his brain. He knew that Frank was probably going to come onto him, going to go gung ho, and he planned and he structured the team in such a way to get a result against a team like this. He did the same thing against Man City. Remember, but this was even easier than Man City, I would argue, because Man City there was a lot of chaos involved early in the season. This was an easy performance by Leicester City. Man, this was just a shocking performance from Chelsea. Unacceptable from Frank Lampard. It's time to go, man. It's time to move on. But I think get a manager in who has experience. Get a manager in. Even if you get a young manager in, get a young manager who has experience. What I mean by that is they've built a portfolio by doing 2 or 3 jobs prior to this job. and they have taken clubs with their philosophy to a certain level. Frank Lampard did well with Derby, but it was only 1 year. And he came to Chelsea first year, no expectations. He did well, but to this year was a lot of expectations, and he failed completely. I think he crumbled, and now he looks like a guy who's completely out of ideas. He's tried everything that he thinks is the right way to play his football. In the end, it isn't. And I'm trying to be as kind as I can, to Frank. I just think it came too early for him. All these players, in terms of attracting players, he's done a good job. Transfer market wise, I think even if Timo Werner and Kai Havertz is having a nightmare games recently, they will come good because they have the talent. You can see in bits. But now we have to find a manager who's going to structure this team, who has a philosophy, who has a style of play, who knows what his style of play is and what it takes for that style of play to happen with the group of players that he has here. He has a lot of players to pick from, and that's something I want to look forward to. And I think Frank Lampard probably now realizes that this job is too big for him. Anyways, this was just a sad reaction to the defeat to Leicester. I think it's the end for Frank. It's definitely a horrible, horrible, horrible day for Chelsea Football Club. Just like 2016 when Mo's job was ended, Mourinho, I think this is the end for Frank. Anyways, guys, I'll get back to you guys later. Until then.